it's hard to resist a begging animal. When they see a big pair of eyes staring up at them and feel a paw brushing up against their leg, even the strictest pet parent can give in at times. Few people, unfortunately, realize just how much harm they could be doing. Cats' and dogs' systems can have fatal reactions to substances found all throughout your house. From common food items to basic home supplies, these dangers are everywhere. What you consider an everyday essential might just be their worst nightmare. 1. Bones. If cartoons have taught us anything, it's that dogs love chomping down on a dinosaur-sized bone. You can give one to your furry friend in real life, too. Just make sure it's not a poultry bone, which will splinter in your pup's mouth. 2. Loose wires. Everybody feels festive around the holidays, even your pets. You can include them in the celebrations as long as there are no loose electrical cords lying around. If a critter happens to gnaw on one, you could have a pet disaster straight out of Christmas Vacation. 3. Candy. Speaking of holidays, it is always recommended to dress up your pup for Halloween. However, don't take him trick or treating. All types of chocolate are toxic to dogs. More for you. 4. Houseplants. Even the prettiest flowers could prove deadly to your four-legged friend. Seemingly harmless plants, like the seasonal Easter lily, contain substances that are toxic to pets. If you buy any of these dangerous flora, keep them out of reach. 5. Toothpaste. It's usually a good idea to freshen up your pet's breath every now and again. However, you don't want to use human toothpaste. Just like sugar-free gum, it often contains the dreaded xylitol. 6. Pest traps. We all want to keep mice and roaches out of our happy homes. If you're not careful, however, cats and dogs can stumble upon these nasty deterrents. Either keep them out of reach, or opt for pet-friendly pest products. 7. Fertilizer. Rolling around in the dirt doesn't pose any real dangers for dogs, except to the cleanliness of your home. But while mud is harmless, keep your pups away from fertilizer. It often smells like food to them, though it is teeming with harmful chemicals. 8. Tobacco. Dogs playing poker sets a dangerous example for canines everywhere, and we're not talking about gambling addiction. Tobacco products should never be ingested by pets. They also suffer effects of secondhand smoke, just like humans. 9. Raw yeast dough. A cat sticking her head through a slice of bread is hilarious. But your pet eating uncooked dough isn't quite as funny. Their digestive systems can't handle the microorganisms, which could prove fatal. 10. Himalayan salt lamps. You wouldn't expect it, but these can be deadly for animals. Shortly after buying a lamp, a New Zealand woman named Maddie Smith noticed her cat acting strangely. His senses seemed to be dulled, and he was unable to eat or drink. As the kitty descended into a stupor, Maddie rushed him to the vet. It turned out he was suffering from sodium poisoning as a result of repeatedly licking the lamp. She got him medical attention just soon enough to save his life. 11. Sugar-free gum. Although it's probably wise to not give your dog any kind of bazooka or juicy fruit, they should especially never come in contact with sugar-free varieties. They use a sweetener called xylitol that's poisonous to canines. 12. Alcohol. Hold off on pouring your pup a cold one. Their livers and kidneys aren't as well equipped to filter alcohol as human organs, meaning that even small amounts can lead to hypothermia, vomiting, or cardiac arrest. 13. Grapes. Many of us try to treat our pets like royalty, but don't go feeding grapes to your dog, Roman Emperor style. They can cause kidney failure in canines, though doctors continue to debate the exact reason why. 14. Coins. How much change do you have under your couch cushion? You should pick it up, and not just to save a few bucks. Coins pose a serious choking hazard to pets, plus they release harmful compounds if they reach the digestive system. 15. Coffee. You may not be able to start your day without a jolt of caffeine, but that's not the case for your favorite animal. So no need to order another tall, venti, or grande. 16. Cleaning supplies. Kudos to you if you ever train your dog to tidy up the house for you. Still, remember that pets, just like kids, should be kept away from supplies like bleach and Windex. They are often more sensitive to these chemicals than we are. 17. Aspirin and Ibuprofen. Animals, just like us, deal with illness and injury. Still, you should be cautious before popping a few painkillers their way. The dosage is often far too much for cats and dogs, and many vets recommend pet-specific varieties. 18. Antifreeze. We all know better than to drink this highly toxic liquid. Your pets, on the other hand, might not be as savvy. Its sweet taste might attract them, so be sure to keep it out of reach. Instead of doling out people food, smart pet owners will stock up on every type of animal chow imaginable. As of late, however, a few independent folks are taking a different approach, one that's threatening their animals' lives. Recent years have seen a sharp uptick in people making their own pet food. Supporters provide a myriad of explanations as to why they got into it. They say it's cheaper, it's healthier, and that it's a great way to more closely bond with your animal. Besides viral recipe blogs, chefs have published full-on cookbooks explicitly for the purpose of preparing pet fare. Odds are that many of these cooks don't put as much effort into their own diet. But is this homemade gourmet kibble worth it? Pet owners can squabble all day long about whether or not it's easier to just buy the store brand, but experts are introducing an additional point to the discussion. Jennifer Larson is a research veterinarian at UC Davis, where she's taking a hard look at cat and dog nutrition. She and her team have closely examined over 100 popular pet food recipes, which have led to some strong conclusions. Obviously, pet owners want nothing but the best for their companions. There's no shame in embracing your inner cat fanatic. Still, Jennifer warns that many of these recipes are actually endangering felines. In many cases, the recipe writers skew their concoctions based on what's appetizing to humans. But even if your kitty licks her lips at your dinner, that doesn't mean it's a healthy option for her. Evolutionarily, cats are hunters. They need the specific nutrients provided by fresh meat, our carefully designed pet food. Felines simply cannot adapt to other diets, even if there are no warning signs at first. But rest assured, nutritional deficiencies will manifest themselves before long. Jennifer and her team have identified the full range of consequences, which run from annoying to potentially fatal. For one thing, homemade cat food often contains fattier ingredients than animals are used to. They'll certainly enjoy these meals, often meowing for seconds and thirds, but this diet can lead to severe obesity. At the other end of the spectrum, cats are falling ill due to a lack of nutrients. Vegan diets lead to all kinds of health disorders, with the worst recipes including ingredients that are toxic to cats. At the same time, Jennifer recognizes that she can't persuade all pet owners to stop making their own cat food. But they should, at the very least, ensure that they follow certain guidelines. It turns out that dogs aren't the only ones who enjoy gnawing on a good bone. Bone meal serves as cats' primary source of calcium. That's a must for strong bones and healthy teeth. Vegetables are acceptable in smaller quantities, though felines don't really need them to stay healthy. Just made sure to avoid cabbage, Brussels sprouts, and broccoli, as they cause bloating. Many pet owners instinctively season their pets' food the same way they'd prefer their own. But for cats, it's better to leave the spice rack alone. Some common flavoring ingredients are pure poison to cats. For instance, prominent fangs and a hypnotizing gaze aren't the only traits that cats share with vampires. They also can't tolerate garlic, so make sure not to ever put it in a kitty dish. Jennifer wants pet owners to know that regulating a cat's diet is complicated. You want to make sure they're only biting into healthy foods. Otherwise, you could really be regretting your kitchen adventure. She says that, ultimately, extensive training and expertise is necessary in order to fully understand the various aspects of this process. So you're probably best off leaving it to the experts and buying high-quality food from your local store. While diet is certainly important, pet professionals have determined that there are other aspects of animal health that most of us are completely ignoring. After all, it's not just about a cat or dog's physical state. Sarah, a sweet-natured rescue dog, was proof enough of that. She loved her new human, enjoyed playing and going for walks, and was typically well-behaved, until her owner, Colleen, left the house. That's when she started acting up. In a haze of worry and fear, the poor dog would start barking endlessly, pant up a storm, pace around like a madwoman looking for her owner, and chew on the furniture. It wasn't healthy. See, due to Sarah's rough past, she suffered from a great amount of separation anxiety. It didn't matter how long Colleen was gone, Sarah would go into a frenzy. One time, she even rubbed her nose raw on the couch. Of course, nobody wants to see their dog in any kind of pain, mental or physical, so Colleen tried everything she could to help her dog out. She got plenty of advice from other dog parents and started training in treatments. She tried long walks, CBD oils, and crate training didn't make a difference at all. Even prescription drugs for anxiety like Prozac didn't put the pup's mind at ease. It evolved into my having to be with her constantly, leaving her with someone else, or having to take her to doggy daycare whenever I left, Colleen said. Luckily, she thought she finally found a solution to her pupper's problems. It was actually her cousin who came up with the idea. Why don't you try making some sort of dummy of yourself, so Sarah thinks you're always with her? She suggested. The plan sounded great, but then the dummy arrived. The creepy-looking thing, Colin figured, wouldn't fool her dog for a second. My Sarah would not fall for such simple deception, she thought. Still, she wanted to give the dummy a shot, anything to soothe her beloved dog's anxiety. So she began making the dummy, nicknamed Dolly, look and smell more like herself by dressing it in her clothes. Visuals were one thing, but dogs, Colleen knew, are all about smells. So, to make sure the dummy smelled as realistic as possible, she put Dolly in her bed. Those blankets and sheets were Smell City. With Dolly looking and smelling the part, Colleen started placing it around the house. That way, Sarah would constantly cross paths with the dummy, becoming more familiar with it. The first place Dolly posted up? The bathroom. Colleen didn't want it to be in a place Sarah frequented because, well, if she figured out it was just a dummy, the plan kind of fell flat. To her surprise, the plan worked. Just a glance at Dolly seemed to be enough to put Sarah at ease, even for several hours. For one of the first times ever, Colleen came home and found Sarah sleeping on the couch, cool as a cucumber. Then, one day, Colleen came home and couldn't find Sarah anywhere. She checked the living room, the kitchen, the bedroom. Finally, she opened the bathroom door and found Sarah sleeping at Dolly's feet. Something she'd never done before. In a way, Colleen was right. Sarah was too smart for the dummy. She didn't think the uncanny thing was her mom. Still, those familiar smells coupled with a familiar, human-like object, gave the pooch comfort. Even with Sarah's newfound comfort, Colleen didn't plan on pressing her luck. Long vacations were off the table. Still, she was elated with the results. It has worked better than many other methods so far, she said. And, of course, Colleen didn't use Dolly as an excuse to shirk mom duties. She and Sarah still cuddle up on the couch and spend every minute possible together. They're best buds, after all. For dog owners who don't want a dummy of themselves at home, a DIY Therapeutic Rap is making its rounds on social media. It helps dogs chill out during a time of high stress or anxiety. To make it, all you need is a piece of fabric the length and width of a scarf. Then, wrap it around your dog at their chest and their withers. If you are unfamiliar with the term, withers, that just means at the base of the dog's neck. It might seem like something intimidating to try, but the truth is that it's a breeze. The half wrap makes them feel cozy and protected. This is the next best thing to having your arms around them. Imagine how secure your dog would feel being in your arms at all times. That's exactly what the half wrap does. They aren't just helpful, they can also be very stylish. Although using fabric scraps from home, ones that smell like you are a smart idea, or athletic bandages works just fine, you can also special order a half wrap online. Making a half wrap shouldn't take much time, but you could also just buy one for your best friend. Many people with nervous dogs, and cats, too, swear by the thunders hurt when it comes to making sure their animals feel calm. We normally think of small dogs as being the ones who get nervous, but every dog, no matter its size, can get a little anxious. When dogs get older, they can get confused. The half wrap helps soothe them. If you are nervous that trying a half wrap on your own dog will be too much of a hassle, then you can always practice at home with a stuffed animal. They don't squirm like your pup, but they're much more patient with beginners. Once you become a half wrapping pro, getting your dog quickly swaddled and quickly comforted will be an absolute snap. It can even help calm down antisocial dogs during walks where they might encounter other dogs. While most dogs might find being half wrapped a little bit strange at first, they adjust it to very quickly. The key is to make it be a comforting and sweet activity you two share together, not something they associate with already feeling stress. Keeping that in mind, the surefire way to half wrap your dog successfully is to anticipate when he might be in stressful situations and to make sure he's all bundled up tight before that stress or anxiety gets a chance to strike.